The story begins with a boy named Park, who was shifting his house, and his friend Kyung was also there, helping him carry his belongings inside. When Park came out to get more stuff, Kyung began tossing boxes toward him. Park managed to catch 2 of them, and as Kyung threw the third one, another friend of Park named Kim caught it for him. While Kyung threw one of the boxes, it fell and some of the belongings inside scattered on the road. Park got angry and started picking everything up. As Kyung took the remaining stuff inside, Park stayed behind to gather the scattered belongings. While doing so, he came across a drawing that he himself had made, although he could not recall when he had drawn it. Just as he was looking at the drawing, a girl appeared in front of him. The moment Park saw her, he froze in place, because she was extremely beautiful. Park instantly fell in love with her at first sight. That was when he realized he was standing in the middle of the road, so he moved aside and the girl walked away. The next morning, Park was still sleeping when he received a call from Kyung, who scolded him for being late on the first day of school. Upon hearing that, Park quickly woke up and shouted at his mom for not waking him. That was when he remembered that he no longer lived with his parents. He hurried to get ready and ran to the bus stop. At the bus stop, Kyung was already waiting. Just then the bus arrived, and Park came running. Kyung saw him and requested the driver to wait for a moment. When Park reached the bus, he realized he had forgotten to bring his wallet. He asked Kyung to pay for his fare, but Kyung's card had no balance either. Park didn't even have any cash. He pleaded with the driver to let him ride for free, promising to pay double the next day. The driver refused, saying he had no guarantee Park would pay, and pointed out that someone was waiting behind Park. When Park turned around, he saw the same girl from the previous day standing there. Her name was Ruby, and she paid Park's fare. Then, he stood beside Kyung and remarked on how pretty she was. He also mentioned that he saw her the day before while carrying stuff into the house and felt like their meeting was fated. As the bus started moving, Park almost lost balance, but Kyung held him. However, while trying to steady himself, Park accidentally grabbed Ruby's collar. When he realized what he had done, he apologized profusely and felt extremely embarrassed. Kyung couldn't stop laughing at the scene. Later, at school, Park and Kim were in the same class, while Kyung was in a different one. When the period ended, Kim and Park went to meet Kyung in his class, where Kyung was asleep. Kim sat in front of him and burped, waking Kyung up because of the smell. Another friend of theirs, Min, who was in the same class, asked them why they had come when they had their own class. As the 4 of them were chatting, Park noticed that Ruby was in the same class and was looking directly at him. He felt even more embarrassed and rushed out. Ruby was sitting with 2 of her friends, Aram and Minji. When Park's friends learned what had happened in the bus, they all burst out laughing. Min teased him, saying he had done a legendary thing on the very first day. Park asked them not to talk nonsense and insisted it was just an accident. Kyung asked whether he thought Ruby felt the same way. That was when Park finally learned Ruby's name. He scolded Kyung for not telling him earlier that she was in his class. Kyung said he had been busy sleeping. Park told them how angry Ruby had looked at him during class, and then asked whether they truly didn't believe that their meeting was fate. He pointed out how they had kept crossing paths over the last 2 days, and how she had even paid his bus fare. He wondered aloud whether grabbing someone's collar could also be a sign of destiny. His friends began mocking him. Park urged them to listen, saying that romance between a boy and a girl always began because of some accident. He looked very happy while saying all this. Kyung told him to stop talking nonsense and said he didn't understand how Park could fall in love after seeing someone just once or twice. Park simply replied that it was destiny. Later, when Park and Kyung were walking around after school, Park spotted Ruby and started following her. He found out which building she lived in, and it turned out to be near his own house. Park declared that their homes being close was another sign of destiny. Kyung sarcastically pointed out that his own house was right across from hers and that she was in his class too. So should he consider their meeting destiny as well? Park responded that if he saw Ruby at sharp 8 at the bus stop the next morning, that would confirm destiny and Kyung would have to accept it. The next morning, Ruby arrived at the bus stop and Kyung and Park were already there. Park excitedly claimed that it was fate, since they met again. Kyung asked him not to talk rubbish, saying they had been standing there for half an hour already and were now running late for school because of him. Park proposed another test, that if Ruby bought the same drink as him at school, that would be the final proof of destiny. At school, Park was sitting with a drink when Ruby came to buy one, but she chose a different drink, making Kyung laugh. Park still insisted it was destiny, since at least both drinks were from the same company. Kyung told him to stop talking nonsense unless he wanted to get beaten up. Just then Kim appeared with the exact same drink as Park's, which made Kyung laugh even more. After school, when Park and Kyung were standing at the gate, Park said that if Ruby came out wearing a skirt, it would be another sign of destiny. Kyung mocked him, saying he might as well say that if she was breathing it meant she was his destiny. Eventually Ruby came out, but she wasn't wearing a skirt, which made Park a little upset. At that moment Kim arrived, and he had tied his tracksuit in such a way that it looked like a skirt. Jung burst out laughing and told Park that instead of dating Ruby he should consider dating Kim, since maybe he was Park's true destiny. Park got angry and asked what he had ever done to deserve this. Kim, however, was completely clueless about why Park was reacting that way. Later the three of them went to play games, but Park was so distracted that he couldn't focus, causing them to lose. He became quite upset. Kyung told him to stop going on about destiny and just go talk to Ruby if he really liked her. Park said his first impression had already been ruined, so how could he talk to her? Besides, he didn't even have a reason to approach her. Chang reminded him that she had paid his bus fare, and that could be the reason to start a conversation. Park admitted he had forgotten about that, and said Krung was right, and he would go right then. Kyung asked whether Park even knew which building she lived in, let alone her exact address. Realizing he didn't, Park sat back down. But the next day, when they were at the bus stop again, Park looked extremely nervous. Kyung teased him, reminding him that he had claimed it would be easy the day before. Park explained that the reason he was nervous was because Kyung was standing next to him. That was why, from the next day onward, Kyung should go to school without him. Kyung agreed and began to walk off, but Park stopped him. The following day, Park got ready for school early and stood waiting for Ruby. When she arrived, he tried to talk to her, but he couldn't manage to say a word. The next day, Park was once again following Ruby, though he didn't have the courage to talk to her. Ruby sensed someone was trailing her, but every time she turned around, she saw no one because Park kept hiding. On the third day the same thing happened again. This time, Ruby was certain someone was behind her. When she turned back, Park quickly jumped into an alley out of fear. At school, Kyung sat next to Ruby and asked if Kyung set her up with a girl. Ruby refused, and advised him not to be hasty. Minji, who was nearby, joined in and told Kyung to set her up instead. Kyung replied that he couldn't do that. At that point Ruby mentioned that a boy was stalking her. Kyung asked whether she had seen his face. Ruby said she hadn't. But she noticed he had a bowl haircut, wore a red tracksuit that day, and was of average height. Upon hearing this, Kyung immediately realized who it was. He went to Park and told him that Ruby was talking about a stalker who had been following her every morning. Park became angry and asked who the jerk was, saying he would break his bones. He added that he himself followed her every day and never saw any stalker. Kyung called him an idiot and told him that Ruby was referring to him. She knew about the hairstyle, his outfit that day, and his height. At that very moment Min walked in. He had the same haircut and height as Park. He tried to give his track to Min, but Minji looked at Park and shouted that he must be the stalker Ruby was talking about. Park tried to explain that it was a misunderstanding, that he wasn't a stalker and just followed her. Park insisted he had his reasons and simply wanted to return the bus fare money she once paid for him, but he couldn't bring himself to speak to her directly. Minji said she didn't believe that explanation and guessed that Park actually liked Ruby. Park denied it. Minji commented that he would never be able to tell Ruby anyway, so he should just give up. Park angrily asked why. Minji said it was because Ruby didn't like guys like him. Park asked what kind of guys Ruby liked. Minji responded that even she didn't know because Ruby never had a boyfriend, but she was certain Ruby wouldn't like someone like Park. Just then Min turned to Park and asked whether giving him the tracksuit was part of a grand plan to make him look like the stalker. He cursed at Park and took the tracksuit back, saying he wouldn't return it. Kyung told Park that he hoped at least now he would talk to Ruby the next day. The following day, when Ruby was heading to school, Park began following her again. This time Ruby noticed and started running. Park chased after her but tripped at a turning. He tried to escape, but Ruby caught him and asked who he was and why he had been following her. Park nervously explained that he only wanted to return the bus fare money she once paid for him. He also reminded her of the day he had accidentally grabbed her collar. Ruby said she now remembered, but she didn't think it was necessary to return the money. Park still handed her the money. He then introduced himself and asked her name. Ruby told him her name. Park mentioned that he lived nearby as well, and asked if they could be friends. Ruby agreed, which made Park very happy. A flashback then showed what had happened 5 days earlier, when Park had written his feelings for Ruby on the money he planned to return to her. Back in the present, Park boarded a bus and saw Ruby using that same money to pay her bus fare, not even noticing the note written on it. Park felt crushed because she didn't read what he had written. The next day, Park got ready for school and thought it was better that Ruby didn't read the letter because it was too soon to confess. While Ruby was heading to school with Kyung and Park, Kyung tried to distract her, while he and Park kept switching sides, trying to execute some secret plan. When they reached the bus stop, Park asked Ruby for her number. She agreed, and when she reached for his phone, he deliberately dropped it. As she bent down to pick it up, Park secretly placed candies in front of her and wished her a happy candy day. Earlier, he had also placed candies in her bag while they were walking, and he and Kyung were switching positions. Ruby didn't seem pleased at all. She returned his phone without giving her number and walked away. Park asked her why she didn't give her number, but the bus arrived and she got on. Kyung told him that he had warned him that the plan was stupid. At school, Ruby told her friends what Park had done. Minji said she already knew something like this would happen. Poor Park didn't even know that Ruby didn't like sweets at all. Ruby asked Minji how she knew Park. Minji nearly got caught but quickly covered it up. She told Park that Ruby was in a bad mood because of him. Park said not to worry, he would confess his feelings soon. Admin said this wasn't the right time because Ruby didn't want a boyfriend right now. When Park asked why, Minji was about to say something but stopped herself and said she didn't know. All she knew was that from today, Ruby was going to start ignoring him. Just then, Ruby arrived to buy a drink, so Minji quickly hid. Park tried to talk to Ruby but she didn't say anything and walked away. The next morning, when Ruby was on her way to school, she found Park already waiting. He told her he had been standing there since morning. Park silently gestured that he liked her. Ruby responded with a gesture that meant she would kick him. Once again, Park asked for her number. She refused and walked off. All day at school, Park followed her around with a guitar, singing to her. Ruby eventually got so annoyed that she broke his guitar. Park faked a hand injury. Concerned, Ruby asked if he was okay and told him to show his hand. Park held out his hand and written on it were the words asking for her number. Ruby walked away and told Kyung to give her number to Park. Park quickly said not to do it. Kyung argued that whether she gave it or he did, it was the same thing. Park said it wasn't the same. Kyung then realized that no matter how hard Park tried, Ruby would never give her number directly to him. So even though Park protested, Kyung sent her number to him. He told Park to do whatever he wanted with it. Save it or delete it. Park became furious at Kyung because he had really wanted Ruby to give the number herself. Later, Park and Ruby bumped into each other again. Just as Park was about to speak, Ruby told him not to talk to her. Park gestured again, asking her to be his girlfriend. Ruby got angry and walked away, leaving Park feeling heartbroken. After school, Park sat alone in his classroom while it poured outside. Kyung entered and mentioned that Ruby forgot her umbrella, and since Ruby didn't have an umbrella, Park could offer to walk her home. Just then, Kim and Min entered too. Park asked Kyung to give him his umbrella. Kyung pointed out that one of Ruby's friends might already have one. Hearing that, Park once again felt disappointed. Kyung told him that since it was his idea, he should think of a solution now. Meanwhile, Ruby panicked, wondering how she would get home. Minji said she would take her, but when Minji checked her bag, she realized her umbrella was missing. She wondered where it had gone. Aram also discovered her umbrella was gone and became annoyed. As the three girls stood outside wondering what to do, Park arrived with an umbrella and tried to ask Ruby if she wanted to share it with him. Park told Ruby to take his umbrella, otherwise she would catch a cold, but Ruby refused, which made Park extremely angry. In frustration, he closed the umbrella and threw it in front of her, saying that he understood what she meant. He told her to go home with the umbrella and promised not to bother her again. As he turned to leave, Ruby picked up the umbrella and threw it back at him, saying she didn't want his umbrella either. Park didn't pick it up and instead followed her all the way to her building. At the building entrance, Ruby asked Park why he was still there and whether he didn't want to go home. Park replied that he was just staying there to avoid the rain because his umbrella was broken. The keypad of the building wasn't working and a keycard was required to enter, which Ruby didn't have because she lost it on the way. She had to wait outside for her sister, who was taking a long time to return from school. Ruby was completely drenched and started shivering. Her phone battery also died. Park suggested she come to his house to warm up and charge her phone. Ruby looked at him in shock and asked if he was crazy. She couldn't understand why she should go to his place. Park explained that he was only suggesting it because she might catch a cold. Ruby refused, said he was annoying and told him to leave. Park got slightly angry and replied that he was leaving, and whether she got sick or not wasn't his concern anymore. While he walked away, Ruby stood outside, scared and freezing. Park came back, gave her his jacket and a towel and said he was worried she would fall sick if she stayed like that. Ruby asked him if he wasn't cold. She stood there thinking for a moment, then agreed to go to his house. Just then a lady walked out of the building and the door opened. Park stopped it from closing and told Ruby to go in. She was surprised again, but walked in. As Park turned to leave, Ruby pulled him inside and asked him to wait with her for a while. She went to her apartment and brought a hoodie for Park to wear. He put it on, and Ruby said she would wash and return it. Then she gave him the umbrella and warned him not to catch a cold or she would kill him. Park was very happy. He was about to leave when Ruby's sister arrived and saw him. When she got home, she asked Ruby if that boy was her friend. Ruby acted indifferent, but her sister asked again, shocked that Ruby gave her hoodie to him. She scolded Ruby angrily. Later that night, Ruby woke up thirsty and went to the kitchen. When she opened the fridge, she imagined Park standing inside it and got scared. Then she went to watch TV but again saw Park in every scene. She turned off the TV and tried to sleep, but Park appeared in her dreams too. Ruby was truly disturbed now. Next morning, Ruby was on her way to school with her friends, and they were talking about what to wear for the upcoming retreat. Minji asked Ruby if she saw Park in her dreams. Park suddenly appeared and greeted everyone. He told Ruby that he saw her in his dreams and asked if she was curious to know what happened. Ruby told him she wasn't interested in his dreams. Park replied that it was fine but he was happy to see her in his dream. They talked for a bit. In class, Minji asked Ruby if something happened between her and Park during the rain. Ruby denied it. Minji said it looked like something changed between them. Ruby asked why they were saying that. Aram pointed out that just a few days ago, Ruby used to ignore Park, but now she was actually responding to him. Ruby got irritated and asked why they were trying to set her up with Park. Minji said it was because she looked happy with him and was treating him well. Ruby snapped and said Park was a good guy, so why should she not treat him well? Aram teasingly asked if that meant there was still a chance she could date him. At that moment, Kyung interrupted by pretending to be asleep, but he had heard the entire conversation. The three girls realized this and Kyung quietly left the classroom. Later, Park was practicing with Kim when Kyung showed up and asked what they were doing. Min explained that they were preparing for the talent show where only 3 member groups were allowed to perform. Park wanted to use this performance to impress Ruby. He asked Kyung to join their group, but Kyung refused. Park emotionally blackmailed him, asking if he wasn't his friend, and eventually convinced him. That night, Ruby was chatting with Minji, who asked what she would wear for the retreat. Ruby said she hadn't decided yet. She went to check her wardrobe and saw Park's jacket, which she had kept. She thought of returning it but worried Park might misunderstand and assume she had feelings for him, or that he might propose. So instead she gave the address to her sister and asked her to return the jacket. At Park's house, he and his friends were practicing. Park told them that he planned to confess his feelings to Ruby during the talent show. His friends told him not to rush things. But Park insisted that something had changed between them during that rainy day. Kong then said he didn't want to tell Park earlier, but now he felt he should. He revealed that Ruby had told her friends in class that she had 0 feelings for Park. Park felt upset, but said he didn't believe it. He thought Ruby was just hiding her feelings. Kyun was amazed at his optimism. Suddenly, Park got a message from Ruby saying she was outside his house. He got excited and told his friends. But when he went outside, he saw that it wasn't Ruby but her sister returning the jacket. Park felt disappointed. He also found out that the hoodie Ruby gave him belonged to her sister, which upset him further. When he came back inside, his friends had already figured out what happened and began teasing him. Park returned the hoodie and Ruby's sister left. When she got home, she asked Ruby if Park was really just a friend. She said it was clear Park liked her. But she didn't think Ruby would ever date him, and she felt bad for him. The next day, all the students left for the retreat. Park gave Ruby some peanuts for the bus ride and she accepted them. At the retreat, Ruby told Minji that she forgot her face wash. Minji offered hers, but Ruby said her skin was very sensitive and she couldn't use any other brand. Later, when everyone settled into their rooms, the teacher said they would do another head count. Aram explained it was because one student was missing, probably Park, since Kyung had been asking about him. When they gathered for lunch, Kyung asked if anyone knew where Park went, but no one knew. He kept calling Park but his phone wasn't reachable. Ruby was also worried. Shortly after, Park returned, escorted by the garden staff. Ruby felt relieved. Since Park went out without permission, The teacher scolded him and gave him a punishment. Later, when Ruby returned to her room, her roommate gave her a face wash, saying the boy with the bowl haircut sent it for her. After finishing his punishment, Park was in pain. Ruby came to him with a drink and told him not to do anything like this again, because she doesn't like it. She asked if he had eaten, to which Park lied and said he hadn't, even though rice was stuck on his face. Ruby noticed it and gently wiped it off and walked away from Park once again, and by doing that his happiness doubled. While washing her face, Ruby smiled while thinking about Park. The next day, all the students were made to do a lot of exercises, but Park seemed to be enjoying it thoroughly. While doing exercises, he even practiced a few dance steps. After lunch, while everyone was resting, Park walked in with rice stuck to his face. Kim noticed it and wiped it off, which made Park furious. Grabbing Kim by the collar, he questioned how she dared to remove it and asked why she interfered. Kim, confused, asked him what was wrong and why he was getting so angry. Without saying much, Park took some rice out of his pocket and stuck it back on his face before leaving. Ruby was sitting with her friends when Park came and asked her to remove the rice from his face. Ruby held his head gently and Aram wiped it off with her kick. Later, all the students were participating in a camp activity where they had to cross a water stream. Young followed behind Minji and started troubling her. She almost slipped and fell into the water, but Kyung quickly held her hand. This made Minji's heartbeat speed up. Just then, Aram arrived and angrily slapped Kyung hard, causing him to fall into the water. Because of the slap, Kyung got injured. Park became very worried because Kyung was supposed to perform with him in the talent show that night, which now seemed impossible. So Park decided to have Min replace Kyung and made him practice intensely since the talent show was only a few hours away. That night, the talent show began and many students had participated. One by one, all the participants began performing. The audience was full of students who had come to cheer. Min and Kim were both very nervous. Min, in fact, was so nervous that he said he wouldn't be able to perform. At that moment, Kyung appeared and calmly told Min that he would perform in his place. Park reminded him that he was injured and asked how he would manage. Kyung confidently said it would only take 2 minutes and he would be fine. When their turn to perform came, they walked on stage, surprising Ruby, who had no idea they were going to perform. As soon as they started dancing, the entire crowd began cheering because the performance was so good. Ruby was amazed to see Park dance so well since she had no idea he could dance like that. After their dance performance ended, Park sang a song through which he indirectly confessed his feelings. When the performance ended, the announcer commented that it was obvious the song was meant for a girl sitting in the audience. He asked that girl to come up on stage. Though Ruby didn't want to, her friends pushed her onto the stage. He asked Ruby how long she had been dating her boyfriend. Ruby replied that he wasn't her boyfriend. The announcer then asked what kind of relationship they had. Taking the mic from him, Park gently placed Ruby's hand in his own and said that this meant today was the first day of their relationship. The crowd began chanting for them to hug each other. Park walked up to Ruby and asked if she'd allow it. Then, without actually touching her, he hugged her, which made all the students laugh. Ruby felt extremely embarrassed and didn't like what Park had done at all. She got angry and walked away, leaving Park very sad. The retreat ended and all the students were preparing to return. Everyone was taking lots of pictures together. Minji asked Kyung about his legs, to which he asked why she was concerned. Minji said that since he danced the previous night, she was worried that his injury might have worsened. Kyung asked why she cared so much. Did she like him? Minji denied it and told him not to talk nonsense. Because of what happened the previous night, Ruby's mood hadn't improved. Other students whispered about her, saying she was the same girl who rejected a guy's feelings in front of everyone. These comments worsened her mood even more. As she was about to board the bus, Park came to offer her a drink, but she refused. Several days passed. Park was sitting in the canteen with his friends, visibly upset. He shared that since returning from the retreat, Ruby had not spoken to him. Whenever he tried approaching her, she ignored him and walked away. Park asked his friends if they thought what he did during the talent show was wrong. Tim replied that he didn't think so. Min added that while Park was performing the song for Ruby, it looked like she would not have refused if he had asked her out. They also pointed out that Park's silly attempt at hugging ruined everything. Meanwhile, Ruby was sitting with her friends, including a classmate named Hari. Harry told Ruby to stop pretending that she didn't like Park. She said that she had seen how lovingly Ruby had wiped the rice off Park's face during the retreat. Hearing this shocked Ruby's friends. They said she probably shouldn't have done that. Park must have misunderstood. Park was passing by and overheard this conversation from outside the room. He stood by the door and listened. Ruby's friends asked her why, if she didn't like Park, she was being so nice to him. Why hadn't she clearly rejected him? Ruby said it was because she felt too old for him. Hearing this, Park was devastated. Just then, Arem opened the door to leave and saw Park standing there. Park pretended like he didn't hear anything and quickly walked away. Later, during class, Park was unable to focus. In his mind, he thought he finally understood everything, as why she paid his bus fare, why she gave him the hoodie that rainy day, and why she removed the rice from his face. She did all of it out of pity. He was unable to pay attention in class. The teacher told him to stand at the back. Park asked the teacher if he too pitied him, which was why he gave such a light punishment. This made the teacher angry and he gave Park a real punishment, which Park completed with much difficulty. After school, Ruby was walking with her friends when she saw Park walking away without speaking to them, which was very unusual. He had never left without talking to her before. They guessed that Park probably heard Ruby say she felt too old for him. That's why he was behaving like this now. Aram asked Ruby what she was going to do about it because she seemed to have hurt his feelings, but Ruby said nothing and walked away. That night, Ruby went to a store to buy some stuff and unexpectedly ran into Park. She tried to talk to him, but Park told her he didn't want to talk and asked her to stop pitying him from that day onward. When Ruby returned home, her sister informed her that the performance Park had done at the retreat was recorded and uploaded to YouTube by someone. The video was going viral quickly. This deeply disturbed Ruby. She messaged her friends to tell them about it. Her friends said that whoever uploaded the video was definitely someone from their school, and that they would find out who it was so they could request him to take it down. The next day, Park was sitting in his class when a girl named Nish came up to him. She told him that she saw him on YouTube and said that he was quite a good gate, though Park didn't understand what she meant by that. She asked him for his phone, and when he asked why, she told him her phone was lost and asked if she could use his. Park handed her the phone, unaware that her phone was not actually lost. She used his phone to call her own number and saved her contact in it. Just then, Kyung entered the class and greeted Park, who asked him if he greeted him out of pity. Kim didn't understand what Park was trying to say. Later, when Park was in the canteen getting lunch, the lady serving food gave him a slightly larger portion. Park asked her if she too pitied him, which shocked Kim and made him wonder what was wrong with Park. Back in class, Min came to return Park's notes. Park said Min must be returning them out of sympathy. Min replied if he is high, since those were Park's own notes. Park responded by asking why Min was looking at him with such pity. Kyung then came and told Park that someone uploaded a video of him on YouTube, and Ruby went to talk to that kid to get it removed. Kyung asked Park if he would go too since he was also in the video, but Park replied that there was no point, as he considered himself a pathetic guy who couldn't do anything. Kyung reminded Park that he once fetched Ruby's face wash without her permission. Park said that was a different matter, and now he realized that Ruby only felt pity for him. Park continued to call himself a pathetic guy again and again, which made Kim lose his temper. Kim shouted at him to stop saying that, saying it was messing with his head. As they all got up to leave, Park said they were leaving him because he was pathetic. Kyung angrily said that Park would never improve. Meanwhile, Ruby and her friends went to meet the boy who uploaded the video. Ruby requested him to delete the video from YouTube, but the boy bluntly refused. Ruby warned him that if he didn't remove the video, she would report it to YouTube and ask them to delete not just the video, but his entire channel. The boy got scared and agreed to delete it. After school, while the boy was walking home, Park approached him and asked again if he would delete the video. The boy said yes. Park then asked if he was doing it because he felt sorry for him, which confused the boy. Later, Ruby and her friends were at a restaurant and Ruby looked upset. They found out the boy deleted the video. The next morning, Kyung was repeatedly calling Park, but Park wasn't answering. Kyung called Ruby and asked if she saw Park. He told her that since the previous day, Park had been acting strangely and was not answering his calls, and he was genuinely worried. Since Ruby's house was nearby, he asked if she could go check on him, but Ruby refused. Still, his words stayed with her and made her concerned. Ruby decided to check on Park. When Park stepped out to go to the store and saw Ruby coming toward him, he tried to run away, but Ruby chased him and caught him. She asked why he was running away from her. Park asked why she was following him and why she couldn't leave a pathetic guy like him alone. Ruby got angry and told him to stop saying nonsense. She insisted she didn't pity him and that he wasn't pathetic. When Park felt hungry, Ruby took him to a restaurant and ordered food for him. When Park didn't eat, Ruby said that feeding him didn't mean she pitied him, and he should think of it as repayment for when he brought her face wash. Hearing that, Park started eating. Ruby explained that what she said the other day didn't mean she pitied him, and she even apologized. Park also apologized for making her feel uncomfortable during the talent show. Ruby told him that he had danced and sung really well. Park became very happy. Everything was clear between them again, and Park started talking to her nicely. The next day, Park was with his friends at school, practicing how to confess his feelings to Ruby. Kyun teased him, asking why he was rehearsing, since if Ruby liked him, even a messy confession would work. But Kyun also said he didn't think Ruby liked Park. Park said he was sure she did. He felt that Ruby looked tough outside but was soft on the inside. While Park was talking to his friends, Nish suddenly arrived. She asked why Park wasn't answering her calls and dragged him away, leaving his friends shocked. They couldn't understand who the girl was. Later, Ruby was sitting with her friends when Minji mentioned that Saturday was Rose Day, and she was sure Park would do something. As they walked to class, Ruby saw Park with another girl and felt a little jealous, although she didn't show it. When Park saw her, he rushed to talk, but Ruby didn't look pleased. In class, Kyung told Ruby's friends that the girl with Park was Nish from the architecture department, but he didn't know much more. Minji said she couldn't believe Park liked Ruby but was roaming around with another girl. Kyung replied that Nish approached Park herself. What could he do? He also asked why anyone would have a problem if Park was with a girl. Did they have a problem seeing them together? Aram replied that they didn't, but Ruby did. Kyung asked Ruby if it bothered her and added that she wasn't dating Park anyway. Ruby replied she didn't care. Kyung told the others to stop interfering. He said Nish told him that Park mattered a lot to her, so if someone likes him, why shouldn't he accept her? Kyung was trying to make Ruby jealous, but she pretended not to care. Meanwhile in class, Nish kept texting Park, which annoyed him, so he switched off his phone. During break, Park approached Ruby and asked what her plans were for Saturday. She replied she would be at home. Park asked why and said he would be free that day so they could meet. Ruby told him she would be busy at home. At that moment, Nish called Park again, and Ruby noticed. She asked if it was the same girl, and Park admitted it. Just then, Nish said she would be free Saturday and wanted to go out. Park told her he would be very busy. Ruby commented sarcastically that it looked like he needed to talk to Nish and returned to class. Park followed her, and Nish didn't like that. In class, Park asked if Ruby was really busy on Saturday. She replied she was free. Park became happy, but then Ruby said he was probably not free since he would be busy with Nish. Park was shocked and asked who told her that. Ruby replied it was obvious. Park insisted there was nothing between him and Nish. Ruby said Nish liked him, so he should date her. Park said if that's the case, he liked Ruby, so she should date him. He asked what she thought. Ruby told him to stop talking nonsense, as the teacher was about to come, and told him to return to his class. Park said he wouldn't go until she answered when she would date him. Before the teacher could enter, Park ran off. After school, while Ruby was walking with her friends, she bumped into Nish, who said she wanted to talk. They went to a cafe. Nish directly told Ruby that since she wasn't going to date Park, she should reject him clearly. Ruby texted Park saying she didn't like him and was rejecting him. She showed the message to Nish and asked if she was satisfied now. Park replied that he'd rejected her rejection, that he would keep liking her, and that there was nothing going on between him and the other girl, so she shouldn't be under any misunderstanding. Seeing this, Nish got angry. Ruby stood up to leave. Nish accused her of not wanting to keep him and not letting him go either. She asked what Ruby really wanted, but Ruby didn't answer and walked away. That night, all of Park's friends came to his house. Since Saturday was the next day and Park planned to confess his feelings to Ruby, they all discussed and made plans for how he would do it. The next day, Ruby was at a cafe with her friends when she received a photo of Park's apartment with a message that there was a fire there. She panicked and rushed there, only to find that there was no fire. Suddenly, she saw Park standing in front of her with flowers. Park said that the building was just a little on fire and that it was not her apartment, so he apologized for lying to her. He confessed his feelings, to which Ruby agreed. Hearing this, Park became very happy and asked if she was serious. Ruby then said she was lying, as now he should understand how it feels to be lied to. As Ruby was leaving, Park said he really liked her and suggested they go on a date. Ruby told him she would message her answer at night and then left. That night, Park sat at home nervous and thinking about what answer Ruby would give. His friends were also there to know what Ruby's answer would be. Meanwhile, Kim, Min and others discussed how Ruby might reject Park. Hearing this, Park got very angry and asked how a friend could say such things. Suddenly Park received a message and happily went to check it. but it was from Kim trying to trouble him, which made Park even angrier, and he grabbed Kim by the throat. Just then another message came to Park, but he was scared to read, so he told Kyung to see what's there in the text. Kyung told him that Ruby said she would give her answer next week. This made Park furious and he started to lash out, blaming Kim's jinx words. Min and Kim also came and started hitting him. When Park checked the messages himself, he found out that Ruby said yes, meaning she would date him. This made Park extremely happy. Ruby messaged her friends telling them she would date Park, which shocked them, but they were happy for her. The next day, Park was so excited to meet Ruby that he could not sleep. At school, Park sat beside Ruby. He started calling her honey, but Ruby told him not to call her that. Park asked if he could hold her hand, but Ruby refused, so Park rested his hands on her shoulders in the bus. Kyung was in the bus too, and he could not see him acting cringe every day, so from the next day he would go to school alone. At school, Kim and Min discussed how they would pass their exams since none of them were good students and the exams were coming soon. Park sat in Ruby's class right in front of her. Ruby was playing a game on her phone and Park was watching her. Ruby told him to stop staring, and Park said that no matter how much he looked, he never got tired of it. Again, Park asked if he could hold her hand, but Ruby refused. Park said that since they were dating, why could they not hold hands? Ruby asked if holding hands was necessary just because they were dating. Park agreed but said they could still go on dates. Ruby tore up a paper where Park had written all their planned dates and said, "Who goes on dates every day, especially with exams coming next week?" Seeing this, Ruby's friends thought Park was really serious about her. Park said since he was late, they would go on dates after exams, but Ruby replied they would see about that when the time came, which upset Park a little. After school, while Park was about to go home with his friends, he told them he and Ruby were dating, but nothing had changed between them, which upset him. Then he saw Ruby going home and approached her. He told Ruby that since he was not very good at studying, he planned to go to the library to prepare well for exams, and asked if she wanted to join. Indirectly, he asked his friends for help to convince Ruby, and they succeeded. Later they were studying in the library, but Park was more focused on Ruby than on studying. Park pretended to be sleepy while studying, and tried to rest his head on Ruby's shoulder, but she moved away. When he looked at her again, she told him to stop looking at her and focus on studies. Park said he was actually studying her. Ruby told him to stop talking nonsense and pay attention to books. Then Ruby noticed that neither her friends nor Park's friends were in the library, because they had all gone outside so Ruby and Park could spend some time alone. Park wanted to show Ruby a webtoon, but she refused to watch it. Park said that since they started dating she had become very cold-hearted. Ruby replied that she had always been like that and asked why he did not like her behavior. Park promised to make her very cute. Ruby told him not to dream because it would never happen. Park said he would treat her well and make her heart go crazy. Ruby asked if he really liked her so much, and Park said yes, he liked her a lot. Ruby asked how long he would keep liking her, to which Park replied he would like her for life. Ruby told him not to answer so quickly because feelings often change. Park said he would not change and his feelings would never change, which made Ruby laugh. Then she went to buy a drink and Park followed her. Park bought the drink and after seeing Ruby walked away, and her friends asked Ruby how the library date was. Ruby told them not to talk nonsense like Park. The drink Park gave Ruby was handed over to Aram, but Aram refused to take it, asking why she should if she did not like Park. Aram said if Ruby did not like Park she should break up with him, but Ruby said it was not that she did not like Park. Aram asked what was going on, but Ruby did not answer, which made it clear she was hiding something. A week passed, exams happened, and only the kids who did not want to study came to school, so their exams were very bad. After the exam, Park came to Ruby and said their exams were over, so let's go on a date. Ruby said she was going to a karaoke room with her friends, so she could not go on a date with him. Park said that was okay and he would go with them. Ruby agreed, and her friends agreed too. They all went to the karaoke room where Kyung was also present. Everyone was singing and dancing and having a lot of fun. Kyung always kept one eye hidden behind her hair, so Minji got curious about why he did that, and she decided to find out the truth. And she did silly things to see Kyung's eyes. Kyung understood what Minji wanted to do, and when he went outside Minji followed him, which made her angry, but then he fulfilled Minji's wish by removing his hair and showing his face to Minji. She immediately got scared by what she saw on his face. After the library, Park was sitting beside Ruby, but she wasn't even talking to him. She was just busy on her phone. When everyone else started leaving, they all left Park behind with Ruby because it was Kyung's plan. Park asked Ruby what they should do now, and Ruby replied that she was going home. Then she started to leave, which made Park very sad. But Ruby paused and asked Park if he wouldn't go home, which made Park really happy because indirectly she was saying that they could go home together. Park came closer to Ruby, held her hand, and asked if he could go with her. Ruby told him not to hold her hand and to keep some distance while walking. Still, Park gently held her shirt and began going home with her. The next day, when Minji came to school, she ran into Kyung. She was feeling really guilty about what she did the previous day. When Park came to school, he noticed a couple in his class who looked really happy together. They even had each other's pictures set as wallpapers on their phones. Seeing this, Park went to meet Ruby but was informed by Minji that she had gone to the restroom. Park picked up Ruby's phone and tried to unlock it, but he wasn't able to. Minji stopped him and told him not to do that. Park explained that he only wanted to change her wallpaper. Just then Ruby came and took the phone from him, and asked what he was doing. She started getting really angry at Park and asked if he was crazy and how he could check someone's phone like that. Park told her he only wanted to change her wallpaper. Ruby questioned who he even was to do something like that on her phone. Hearing that made Park feel really hurt. He asked what she meant by that, reminding her that he was her boyfriend. Ruby snapped back that just because he was her boyfriend didn't mean he could do whatever he wanted. She was visibly angry at Park. Park calmly responded that he already told her what he wanted to do, and anyway, he didn't even manage to unlock her phone, so he didn't understand why she was so angry. Ruby told him to stop talking nonsense and reminded him that just because they were dating didn't mean she didn't have a private life. Park felt even more hurt and said he couldn't even understand if they were really dating. Ruby responded that if that was the case, they might as well break up. This left Park completely shocked. Just then, Kyung and Min came into the class. Park quietly walked away, clearly devastated. Kyung asked Minji what had happened and she told him about the breakup. Hearing this shocked both of them. In class, Park sat in complete silence. He didn't know what to do. He tried texting Ruby, saying that he was serious, that she said all that in anger and that he made a mistake and wanted her to forgive him. When Ruby checked her phone, she saw Park's message, but she didn't read it. During break time, Park sat with his friends at a store. Ruby still hadn't read his message, and this made Park even more upset. His friends advised him to stop waiting for her to read the message and instead go talk to her directly. Park confessed that he was scared to talk to her. Min reminded him that he had performed a song for Ruby in front of the entire student body, so this should be nothing in comparison. Just then Ruby came to the store with her friends to buy chips. Gathering some courage, Park went to talk to her, but as soon as Ruby looked at him angrily, Park got extremely nervous and simply said, "Ruby, please check my message," and walk away. After school ended and all the students left, Park was still sitting in the classroom, waiting for Ruby to read his message. At that moment, Kyung came and asked Park to come home, but Park refused. Kyung then forcibly took him along. The next day, Kyung went to talk to Ruby. He told her that he didn't think Park had made such a big mistake, so why was she being so harsh with him? Ruby replied that maybe Kyung felt that way, but she believed Park had made a serious mistake. She asked him if he was Park's lawyer trying to prove his innocence, and said Park could speak for himself. She also added that Kyung should already know that checking someone's phone without permission was a form of crime. Just then, Park arrived, and said that if he was a criminal, then she was a thief because she had stolen his heart. Ruby told him to stop making stupid jokes and started to walk away. Park grabbed her hand and tried to stop her. He apologized again, but Ruby looked at him with such anger that Park got scared and let go of her hand. Ruby walked back to her classroom. For the entire day, Park kept following her around, trying to apologize, but she kept ignoring him. Later, Park brought a drink for her, but Ruby refused to accept it. Park explained that he wasn't trying to check her phone but only wanted to put his picture as her wallpaper. Ruby asked why she would ever want to put his picture on her phone, and said they weren't even that close. She added that while they were telling everyone they were dating, the truth was that she hated him. Although she didn't say it out loud, Park understood what she meant. This realization made him feel both heartbroken and angry. He threw the drink in front of her in frustration and said that this was getting to be too much. Ruby asked if he had gone crazy. Park replied that he was perfectly fine and questioned why she wouldn't just say what she really felt. He asked if she hated him. Was that the truth? If so, why did she even agree to go on a date? Ruby tried to explain that it wasn't like that and asked him to listen to her. Park said that he didn't want to listen to her, and that he could speak too. He admitted that he made a mistake, but it wasn't so big that he couldn't be forgiven. He asked if she really thought she was the only girl who ever mattered to him. He reminded her of the girl who liked him before. Ruby said she always knew that someday he would say something like this and that he had just shown what kind of person he really was. Park responded that if that was true, so be it. He said if she truly hated him, she should have told him earlier. She shouldn't have cared for him and confused him. He didn't expect much from her but asked if she couldn't even treat him like a human being. He asked if she hated him so much. Ruby replied that it wasn't like that she didn't hate him. But Park insisted, saying she did hate him, and that made Ruby extremely angry. In that anger she yelled that yes, she hated him a lot. Hearing those words from her mouth broke Park's heart completely. Just then a teacher arrived, and both of them left. Meanwhile Nish had seen everything and actually felt quite happy. After school, when everyone was going home, Aram reminded them that they had decided to go on an outing the next day and asked when they should meet. Ruby said she wouldn't be able to come. Park also declined. Minji asked if they should cancel their plans, and Kyung agreed that it would be better to do so. Aram suggested going for the outing anyway, but Park said it would be better if he just didn't go at all. Then, he walked away. Just then, Ruby also walked away from there. Minji asked what they should do about the others, to which Kyung replied that he did not know, and did not want to get involved anymore. Aram assured them not to worry, saying that they would resolve everything on their own, so they all decided to cancel their plans. That night, Ruby stayed at home, thinking about everything Park said, which left her completely frustrated. She was getting extremely angry. Meanwhile, Park remained at his own home, thinking about Ruby, and felt so affected that he couldn't sleep. The next day at school, Park and Ruby came face to face, but didn't speak to each other. Ruby walked off and Park went to his locker to get something. When Nish arrived, she started a conversation with Park, but he told her that he didn't want to talk and asked her to leave. Nish then began speaking badly about Ruby and even hurled insults at her, which made Park furious. He warned her not to speak anything bad about Ruby and to talk respectfully, reminding her that what Ruby did or didn't do was none of her business. He said that whether Ruby liked him or not, he liked her, and that made him happy. Nish became very offended by his words and left in anger. Ruby had seen and heard everything, which left her deep in thought. After school, Park was on his way to meet his friends, and Ruby's friends were also planning to meet her so they could talk and help her understand things. Ruby stepped out to the market, and Park was sitting outside when she asked what he was doing there. Park explained that he was sorry for everything he said the day before, that he was angry, and ended up saying a lot of things unintentionally. Hearing this, Ruby paused and then apologized, saying that when she told him she hated him but it was not true. She admitted that she was thinking of talking to him so things could be sorted out, and that she had hoped to run into him there. Park asked if that meant they were dating again, and Ruby told him to take it that way. Park felt very happy and confessed again how much he liked her. Ruby replied that she already knew. Park then asked if she liked him too. Ruby didn't respond, and Park said that it was okay, he would wait for her to like him. Ruby replied that he could do whatever he wanted. Everything between them became fine again. Later, in class, Park sat right in front of Ruby and kept talking nonsense. Park said that he enjoyed thinking about her, and she was always on his mind. He asked when she thought about him, and Ruby answered that whenever he messaged her, she thought about him. Park teased her, saying that now he would message her all the time, to which Ruby warned that she would block him if he did. Ruby told him that if he wanted to say something he should just say it and stop acting weird. Park asked her if she was busy that weekend. Ruby said yes because she was going shopping. Feeling a bit sad, Park went back to his class. That's when Minji came to talk to him and asked whether he still hadn't gone on a date with Ruby. Park replied that he didn't think she wanted to go, and he was also scared that their story might end in another breakup. At that moment, Min came running and showed them a picture of Kyung. He told them that Kyung worked part-time at a restaurant. Min suggested that they all should go to that restaurant over the weekend. Minji refused, but Park insisted that she had to come and bring Ruby too. Park pleaded and promised that when the time came he would help with her relationship. Just then, Kyung arrived and asked what they were discussing. As soon as he arrived, everyone went quiet. No one told him anything, and they all walked away, which left Kyung wondering why everyone was behaving so strangely. The next day, Kim was aware that Kyung worked at the restaurant. Coincidentally, it was also Kyung's birthday that day. Kim assumed that Min was lying and thought the surprise was for him instead of Kyung. Meanwhile, Kyung started his job as a waiter. When Kyung went to take their order, he found his own friends in the room, which really surprised him. Kyung asked what they were doing there and how they found out about his job. Kim told him to talk properly and reminded him that they were the customers. Hearing that, Kim hit Kim lightly on the head with the menu card, and she went quiet. Aram teased that she had heard this restaurant only hired handsome employees, but she hadn't seen even one. She also joked about the bad service, which made Kyung angry. He told them if they weren't going to order, they should stop making jokes and leave. But all of them started teasing him further. He told them to stop irritating him. Ruby told him to go and do his job and they would decide and let him know. Then Ruby turned to the others and said that if they brought her there just to trouble someone at their workplace, it wasn't a nice thing to do. She told them to enjoy themselves and said she was leaving because she needed to go shopping. As she started walking away, Park followed her. Seeing that, Kim assumed they were going to get her birthday cake and felt very happy. Park told Ruby that he would come with her. She asked why he wanted to join, saying she likes shopping alone. Park assured her that he wouldn't bother her, that he would just stay by her side and carry her bags. Ruby said if he was going to come even after her refusal, then he should do as he pleased. Back at the restaurant, Kyung's friends continued calling him repeatedly, placing ridiculous orders and making pointless complaints, which left him incredibly irritated. Even Kim began wondering why they hadn't surprised him yet. Then a girl came and asked Kyung for his number, and he gave it to her, which Minji didn't like. When Kim came back from the restroom, he saw Kyung decorating a cake and assumed it was for him. After the gang left, Kyung brought the cake into the room and said he thought everyone forgot his birthday, so he thanked them for doing all that for him. While eating, they suddenly remembered that it was Kim's birthday that day because no one actually recalled it earlier. To handle the situation, Min said that there was no way they would forget their friend's birthday. The three of them wished him a happy birthday. While shopping, the clothes Park picked didn't match her taste. After shopping, Ruby finally asked Park if he would like to hang out with her. Park became extremely happy and instantly said yes. On the other side, everyone was celebrating Kim's birthday. When Kyung came in and saw everyone eating the cake, he was shocked. Kim thanked him for preparing the cake, but Kyung got very angry and shouted at everyone, calling them idiots, asking why they ate that cake. Kim asked him why he was angry, and whether he didn't prepare the cake for her. Kyung said that the cake was actually left by a customer who went to bring someone to surprise them. After hearing this, Kim got upset and said that it meant nobody remembered her birthday. Kyung said he didn't remember and apologized, but asked what they were going to do about what they had done with the cake. Aram said they would do whatever they could, and then asked how much time was left for the surprise. Kyung said there was less than an hour left. At the same time, Park brought Ruby on a date. Just then, both of them got a message from Kyung asking them to return and bring a cake with them. Park didn't feel like going at all because it was his first real date with Ruby, but since she decided to go, he also had to. When they reached the restaurant with the cake, they found out what had happened. The cake they brought was very simple. Despite searching many shops, that was the only one they found. Park took the cake to the kitchen and used various types of whipped cream to make it look just like the previous one. He decorated it really well. Ruby saw everything and was quite impressed with Park. When the customer arrived, Kyung went to give the cake and found that it was none other than his school principal, who came with a lady to surprise her. The principal was shocked to see his student working there, but Kyung acted completely normal and quietly left the cake and walked away. Later, the principal came out and requested him not to tell anyone about what he saw. Kyung reassured him and said he would act like he saw nothing. After that, everyone celebrated Kim's birthday properly. Once the celebration ended, everyone left the place. On their way, Ruby praised Park for what he did that day. Park said he learned it from his grandfather, who was a chef. Ruby asked if that was true and whether he could cook too. Park said yes and promised that on her birthday he would cook such delicious food for her that it would bring tears to her eyes. Ruby joked that if he actually did that, she would kill him. While talking, they reached Park's house. Ruby asked if she should come in, but Park said he would first drop her home and then return. Ruby agreed, but when Park insisted, she said it was up to him and then he went to drop her. The scene then shifted to a few days later. Everyone was waiting at the station. Park and Ruby arrived, both wearing matching clothes. Everyone complimented them, saying they looked great together in the rain. But Ruby didn't like it. Then a scene from 2 hours earlier. Ruby was getting ready to leave when she received a message from Minji, asking what she was going to wear. Ruby clicked a photo of her outfit and sent it. Minji showed that photo to Park, because he had asked her what Ruby was going to wear. Returning to the present, Park said this was not planned at all, and that it felt like their pair was made in heaven. Ruby replied that he was talking nonsense and realized someone must have told Park what she was wearing. Just then, Min came wearing the exact same t-shirt as Park, only the color was different. Seeing that, Park got very angry at Minu. A short while later, Kyung arrived with his old school friend named Shin, who would be joining them. Aram also arrived with an old friend named Jun. All of them were going on a trip to Kim's village where her grandparents lived. They were going to see the valley there, which was known to be very beautiful. A few hours later, they reached the village and met Kim's grandparents. As they were about to go see the valley, Kim's grandmother told them they couldn't go because it rained heavily the previous day, and the area was flooded and declared restricted. All the girls got disappointed as they couldn't see what they came for. But the boys didn't mind and played around in the water. All the girls in Par were sitting inside. Kyung called them out to come play. The girls came outside but decided not to join the game because they didn't want to get wet. Park tried to secretly throw water on Ruby, but she caught him. She asked if he was going to throw water on her. Park got scared and said he was actually going to pour it on himself, and then he did that. At night they all had dinner together and loved the food made by Kim's grandmother. Park tried to feed Ruby with his hands but she refused. Minji was troubled by mosquito bites, so Kyung gave her some medicine, which surprised her, while Shin was seen quietly watching her. The next day, they were all picking chilies because she owned a chili farm. While working, Ruby got thirsty but her water was finished, so Park gave her his water. Min tried to escape by making an excuse to go to the bathroom, but Kim handed him a bottle and told him to go in instead. Min refused and said it wasn't necessary and he was totally fine. Meanwhile, Minji was trying to carry a sack full of chilies, but it was so heavy that she couldn't lift it. Kyung noticed this and went over to help, lifting the sack. Minji told him not, but Kyung ignored her and asked if she wanted a boyfriend. Minji asked him why he was suddenly asking that and what exactly he was trying to know. Kyung explained that he just thought she should have someone who could lift sacks for her. Minji told him not to worry about her because she already had a friend who could do that just like a boyfriend. At that very moment, Aram came and effortlessly picked up 2 sacks. Meanwhile, everyone was working nervously, and all their water had run out, including Ruby's. When Park checked the fridge, there wasn't any water. There were several bottles with juice-like liquid inside, so Park started tasting from each of them and realized they weren't juice but alcohol. He kept drinking little by little until he was drunk. Back at the land, everyone started wondering why Park hadn't returned yet. Just then they saw Park approaching, staggering as he walked, which made everyone suspicious. Park came back carrying a bottle and claimed he brought water for Ruby. Kyung sniffed it and shouted that it was alcohol. Realizing Park was drunk, they decided to take him back home. But Park resisted, saying he needed to give water to his honey. When Ruby came forward and asked what was wrong, Park happily addressed her as his honey and said he brought her water. Kyung told everyone that Park was definitely drunk. As they tried to take him away, Park continued resisting and told Ruby not to behave like that with him. He said he really liked her, but she didn't even care. King tried calming him down, but Park went on and asked why he couldn't do anything even though they were dating, and before he could say anything more, Aram hit him on the head and knocked him unconscious. Later that night, Park was sleeping while the others were sitting outside and the girls were playing games. Ruby asked Kyung how Park was doing, and he replied that if she was so worried, she should go and check herself. Just then, Shin came out and informed everyone that Park wasn't inside the room. Kyung was shocked because he had seen Park there a while ago, but when he checked, Park really wasn't there. Everyone panicked and started looking for him. Ruby even tried calling him, but he didn't have his phone with him. Kyung and the other boys went out to search. Aram asked Ruby if she really didn't know where he could have gone, considering Park was her boyfriend. Ruby thought hard and eventually went to the convenience store, where Park was sitting alone with water. She went up to him and tried to wake him, but he wouldn't get up. She messaged the group that she found him there. Park suddenly stood up and it was clear he was still drunk. Ruby asked what was wrong and if he was okay. Park came close, held her, and leaned in to kiss her. Ruby closed her eyes, but Park didn't kiss her. He rested his head on her shoulder and said he liked her. In fact, even more than before. He asked him if she liked him even a little. Ruby was about to answer when Park suddenly threw up. She didn't say anything after that. When Park tried to come closer again, she pushed him back and told him not to come near her. Just then, Kim and Kyung arrived and took Park back home. The next day, Ruby stepped out of her room and saw Park trying to sneak away. She caught him, made him sit on the porch and sat beside him. Park was feeling very embarrassed about what he did in his drunken state, but he still managed to sit beside her. Ruby asked how he was and if he was okay. Park said he was fine, just had a slight headache. Ruby asked if he remembered what happened last night. Park did remember everything, but he lied out of embarrassment and said he didn't. He asked if he did something wrong. Ruby held out her hand and asked for his. Park gave his hand, and she smiled, which made him really happy. She asked if he was still drunk, since his cheeks were red. Park didn't say anything because he was blushing. Ruby let go of his hand and asked if he liked that. Park replied yes. She was about to hold his hand again when Park's friends showed up, so instead she twisted his wrist in front of everyone. Min asked Park if he remembered what happened last night. Park admitted he did, and all his friends began teasing him because they knew he remembered everything. After teasing him, Park's friends went inside. Ruby told Park that if he ever wanted to say anything to her, he should say it directly and never behave like that again. Park took out his phone, grabbed her hand and clicked a selfie with her. After that, the whole group was supposed to go on a mountain trip, but their grandmother told them it had been a long time since the house was cleaned and that her back hurt too much to manage it. So the group canceled the trip and decided to clean the house instead. While working, Park wasn't letting Ruby do anything, which annoyed her. She got angry and warned him that she would kill him if he didn't move. Park ran away in fear. Outside, Min was working when Shin came and informed Minji that he packed all the trash into garbage bags and was about to throw them out. Minji praised him for doing a great job. Hearing that, Park became really happy and went out. Chung overheard their conversation and asked Minji when she and Shin became so close. Minji asked why it mattered to him. Chung asked if she liked him, and Minji asked why he was asking such questions. Chung said to forget it because he didn't want to know, and he walked away. Later in the evening, Minji came out and saw Kyung, Min and Shin chatting. She noticed them and overheard Minnie asking if he liked Minji. Kyung told him to shut up and not say anything to anyone. Hearing that, Minji started thinking about who liked her. That night, she couldn't sleep and kept wondering who it might be. She remembered how Kyung gave her medicine, helped her in the field, and even asked her if she wanted a boyfriend. He also seemed upset when she talked to Shin. Thinking about all that, she concluded that Kyung liked her. And the thought made her very happy, because she liked him too. The next day, everyone returned from the trip. Ruby left early for some story work and Park accompanied her. While Minji finally came to know that Kyung did not like her. The truth turned out to be that Shin, who had fallen for Minji at first sight. All of this started making sense to the Minji. Since she didn't like Shin, she directly rejected him. The next day, while Ruby was getting ready, she received a call from Park. He asked what she was doing and she told him she was getting ready to go out. Park reminded her of their plan to meet after the trip and asked if she remembered. Ruby asked what he was talking about. Park explained that they had agreed to meet that day once the trip was over and claimed she had said yes. Ruby declined, mentioning she already had plans to help her friends. When Park asked what kind of help, she explained that they had to clean the school to earn volunteer hours. She suggested meeting the next day instead, as she would be free then. But Park said he only wanted to meet that day. Park became upset, realizing that he wouldn't get to see her that day. A little later, just as Ruby was about to leave, she received a message from Minji saying she didn't need to come anymore. Ruby became confused, wondering why Minji had said that. That's when she got a message from Park, who said he was standing outside her house. She stepped out and asked what he had said to Minji. Park told her not to worry and said he had sent the replacement. The replacements turned out to be Kyung and Kim. When they arrived, Minji asked if they were the replacements. Kyung responded by saying who else Park would send and added they had come to help. After the cleaning was done, he jokingly asked if Ruby would treat them to a meal. Aram asked if Park hadn't promised them something, since they wouldn't show up for free. Kim was about to reveal what Park had promised, but Kyung stopped him, saying it was a secret between them. Just then Min arrived wearing a bright pink wig, making everyone laugh out loud. Although Min was trying to look cool, Kyung teased him, saying he looked like a complete clown. Meanwhile, Park took Ruby shopping. He tried on many outfits, but Ruby didn't like any of them. Eventually, she picked some clothes for him herself. Park was overjoyed and tried to hug her, but she pushed him away. Back at school, while the cleaning was underway, Minji asked where Kyung and Min had gone. Aram said they had gone to get cleaning supplies and hadn't returned yet. Minji went to water plants when Kyung suddenly appeared behind her, scaring her and causing her to spill water on him. Minji said it wasn't her fault, and that he shouldn't have scared her. When she asked why he was there, Kyung said he was tired and had come for some peace. Minji pointed out that everyone else was working while he wanted to rest. She added that if he wasn't interested in helping, he shouldn't have come at all. Kyung snapped back, saying he was helping, and asked her to stop taunting him, especially since the volunteer points were going to her and not to him. Chung then asked Minji if she had given her number to Shinsho. She said no. Kyung told her she should have, or else he could give it to him. Minji said she wasn't interested. Kyung kept talking about Shin, which annoyed her, and she walked away angrily. Meanwhile at the restaurant, Park was talking to Ruby. She finally told him to stop talking rubbish. Park said he didn't know what to say to her, so he was just saying anything. Ruby said she had heard that in a good relationship, even if there was nothing to talk about, being comfortable in silence was enough. Park smiled and asked if that meant she was silent because she was comfortable with him. Ruby said she wasn't uncomfortable either, which made Park happy. He said now that they were alone together, it actually felt like a real date. Ruby asked what he meant. He looked a little upset and took out his phone, which had a photo of Ruby on the back. She was shocked and asked where he got it. She asked if Minji had given it to him and demanded that he return it. Park said he would only return it if she caught him. He ran and Ruby shouted that she would actually kill him if he didn't return it. Park got scared, sat beside her and handed the phone over. Ruby removed the photo. But Park had another photo, which he pulled out of his pocket just to tease her again. At school, Kim and Aram were cleaning while Kyung and Min were sitting and playing games. Kyung noticed Minji passing by, and she didn't seem to be in a good mood. She had come to clean the music class. Kyung followed her and apologized for what he had said earlier in the nurse's office. He told her that if she wasn't interested in Shin, that was perfectly fine. He handed her a drink and walked away quietly. Meanwhile, Park and Ruby went to a gaming cafe and played many games. Park took her around the town, ate ice cream with her and talked with her in the park. Ruby listened to him sweetly and attentively. At school, everyone completed the cleaning. As they were leaving, Kyung told Min that the wig didn't suit him and asked him to take it off. Min refused. Just then, the school principal entered and saw Min wearing the wig. Min got scared and quickly removed it. The principal was about to scold him harshly, but paused when he saw Kyung. The principal became a bit uncomfortable because Kyung had seen him with a woman. So instead of shouting, the principal softly explained to Min that such behavior wasn't acceptable in school and left. Later that evening, Park and the group went out to eat. Park had paid for everything the whole day, but this time, Ruby paid the bill. Park wanted to visit more places, but since it was late, they decided to head home. As Park dropped her off, Ruby said goodnight. Park asked if he could get a hug before she left. He walked up to her and hugged her. She was surprised. Park then playfully said that next time he wanted to kiss on his birthday. Just as he was about to leave, Ruby stopped him and asked if it was his birthday that day. Park nodded. Ruby was shocked and asked why he hadn't told her. She said he had spent the entire day with her, didn't even celebrate, and she hadn't even given him a gift. Park said that she had spent the whole day with him, treated him to dinner and hugged him. That was all the gift he needed. Ruby replied that she didn't hug him, he had hugged her. Then she hugged him and wished him a happy birthday. Park got emotional but also felt very happy. Just as Ruby was about to leave, she received a message and paused. She asked Park if he had a guitar at home. Park said yes. Ruby said one of her friends needed it, and then she walked into his house with him. Actually, Kyung had texted Ruby because all of them were at Park's house to surprise him with a cake. However, Kim slipped and dropped the cake. When Park came inside, he saw everyone and the ruined cake lying on the floor, which made him extremely angry. The next day, Minji and Park were at a gym. Aram was very skilled in boxing, and during her meal break, all three of them came to learn basic boxing for self-defense. At the same time, Park and his friends arrived at the basketball court to play with some other boys. Those boys were not exactly friends with them but knew each other. They had been playing for a while, so they decided to take a break. Among them was a boy named Jack, whose girlfriend had also come to watch him play. She was alone and getting bored. Jack came to the group and asked if any of them had a girlfriend so she could come too, as his girlfriend was getting bored. He reminded Park that he had a pretty girlfriend and asked if he could call her. Park replied that he didn't think he should call her since they weren't that close, and just holding her hand took a lot of effort, so she probably wouldn't come even if he asked. Jack offered to give some tips, but Park declined because he knew Jack was a playboy. Since none of the boys had a girlfriend, Jack returned to his own girlfriend. Seeing Jack and his girlfriend together made Park wish Ruby were there too. On the other side, Ruby and her friends were nervously training. Aram gave them a break, during which Ruby checked her phone and saw a message from Park saying he wanted to ask her something. Ruby called Park and told him she wouldn't come, to which Park replied that he hadn't even said anything yet. When she asked what it was about, Park said he was playing basketball with some boys and asked if she could come. Ruby refused and hung up the phone. She then clicked a photo and told him that she was at Aram's boxing session so she couldn't come. Park also clicked a photo and sent it to her, telling her he was at the basketball court with his friends. When the break ended, everyone resumed playing. While Jack was scoring, his girlfriend cheered him enthusiastically, which made Park sad. He again thought how nice it would have been if Ruby were there to cheer for him. After a while, their training ended and everyone started leaving. Minji checked her phone and saw a message from Park, asking her to inform him once their training was done. So, Aram sent him a message that they were finished. Park messaged Ruby saying that since her training was over she should come. Her friends encouraged her, saying that since he was requesting so much she should go. Ruby finally decided to go, but by the time she reached the court, the game had already ended, and Park had gone to the washroom. Seeing Jack, Ruby got suspicious and extremely nervous, so she left. Just then Park returned and asked Jack if Ruby had come. Jack responded by asking if she was Park's girlfriend now. Hearing this, Park was shocked and asked if Jack really knew Ruby. Jack said that not only did he know her but he also dated her. This left Park and his friends in disbelief. Park said it was nonsense because Ruby told him she never dated anyone. Jack replied that if she said that then maybe she forgot, but he remembered dating her. He described her as someone with a lot of attitude and it was difficult for him to handle her. Park then asked where she went, and Jack pointed in her direction. Park ran to find Ruby who was leaving. She was so nervous that she slipped and fell. Park reached her and asked if she was okay or hurt, but Ruby didn't say anything and started walking away. Park stepped in front of her and asked what was going on. Ruby simply said she was sorry and needed to leave. Park stopped her and asked what she meant by sorry. Did she know Jack or not? Ruby got angry and told him not to bother her and to let her go. Park pleaded with her to just answer whether she dated Jack or not. He admitted he wasn't very close to her but knew Jack wasn't a good guy and was a playboy. He said if she didn't answer he might start imagining all sorts of things. Ruby told him they would talk later and left, leaving Park heartbroken because she didn't answer. When Park returned to pick up his bag, Jack asked if Ruby had left. He remarked that she looked good with long hair. Park didn't reply and walked away. Ruby returned home and wanted to message Park to tell him the truth but couldn't do it. Then a flashback from 2 years ago was shown. When Ruby was in middle school, she was walking to school with Aram when Jack was waiting for her. He asked for her number but she refused and started walking away. Jack tried to stop her and impress her with cringy lines, which she didn't like. Then he gave her a lollipop and tried to leave but slipped and fell, making her laugh. Although not much, Ruby was slightly impressed by him. Back to the present, Park messaged her again asking the same questions but Ruby didn't even look at his messages, which made Park even sadder. Meanwhile, Ruby was also upset at home, wondering how to tell Park the truth. She hadn't responded to him or even seen his messages, which made Park restless, and he couldn't sleep the entire night. The next day, Park's friends came to meet him. Seeing him upset, Min asked if he broke up with Ruby. Park denied it, saying there was no breakup. Kim commented that although he didn't know much about dating, everyone has a past and Park too had a girlfriend before. They all knew Jack wasn't a good person, even if they dated it was in the past. Kyung added that the present matters the most in any person's life. When Kyung asked if he still liked Ruby, Park admitted that he did, but she didn't like him. At the same time, Ruby's friends visited her. She told them everything that had happened. Minji asked if Park messaged her. Ruby confirmed it. Minji replied that from what she heard it seemed like Park might never meet her again. Aram asked why Ruby wasn't saying anything to Park. She said it was clear that she never really dated Jack, and Jack had been playing with her from the start, so it couldn't be called dating. Aram told her to just tell Park the truth. Aram said she should tell him everything so there were no misunderstandings. Ruby admitted it was hard for her to talk to Park about a relationship she was never even in. Aram told her she did nothing wrong, so there was nothing to fear. Minji reminded her that Park and Jack knew each other, and if Jack said something twisted about her, things could get worse. She said Ruby should tell him the truth soon because she and Park looked good together and their relationship was going well. Meanwhile, Park said even if she had lied and said it wasn't true, he would have believed her. Min asked why she wasn't saying anything. Park said it was because he wasn't important enough for her, so she didn't feel the need to explain. This angered Kyung, who said Park should either break up with her or continue dating her, but stop spoiling his mood with all this. Park started wondering whether he should break up. While, after Ruby's friends left, she walked them out, Jack appeared and greeted her, saying it had been a while. He asked why she left like that the previous day. Ruby didn't reply and tried to walk away. But Jack grabbed her hand and pulled her toward him, saying she shouldn't ignore her ex-boyfriend like that, and asked if she wasn't happy to see him. Ruby firmly said that he was not her ex, and he should stop talking nonsense. She said she didn't want to talk to someone as disgusting as him. While Park was out for a walk, he saw them together and was shocked. A flashback revealed that Ruby had started liking Jack a little, and was considering dating him. But then she learned that Jack was a playboy who dated many girls. Jack claimed that Ruby misunderstood, saying the girl wasn't his girlfriend. Ruby said she heard everything and knew he only came to her because he thought she was easy. Jack tried to cover it up, saying it was a joke, and that he actually liked her a lot. He insisted that he knew she liked him too, and promised to break things off with the other girl and focus only on her. Ruby ignored him and walked away, making Jack very angry. He insulted her, called her overly proud, and said the only reason he wanted to date her was because she was pretty. He ended by saying he no longer wanted to date a girl like her. Back in the present, Park was shocked to see them together. Ruby also panicked seeing Park. Witnessing them together broke Park's heart. Ruby wanted to talk to him, but he walked away. Ruby came back home and texted Park asking if he could wait a few days, after which she would tell him everything. But before Park could see it, she deleted the message. When Park noticed that Ruby had sent a message and then deleted it, he became lost in thought, wondering what she might have written. The next day, Ruby's friends came to meet her and she told them everything that happened the previous night. Minji questioned what she was saying and whether it was true that she and Park were about to break up. Ruby responded that she wasn't sure because when she looked at Park he reminded her of Jack. Sometimes he acted just like Jack, which made her nervous. Aram told her not to compare Park with that rogue Jack, and Minji agreed, saying Park was very different from Jack. Ruby said she felt that Park might want to break up with her. She recalled how Park had walked away without speaking to her the previous night, which made her believe that he wanted to break up. Aram asked her if she would really do nothing about it and let everything end between them. Aram told her that remaining silent wouldn't help, and she needed to tell him the truth, or else how would he ever know? Minji said both of them should talk to each other because it was making her lose her mind. Meanwhile, Park had come to play a tabletop game with his friends, but he was not enjoying it at all. Min said they were supposed to play basketball the next day, to which Park replied that they could go ahead without him as he wouldn't come. Later that night, while Park was at home, he got a call from Minji. She revealed everything about Jack and Ruby, saying they were never dating. Though Park had said he wouldn't come to play basketball, he showed up after learning the truth, and he was extremely angry. He had come not to play but to fight, and he ended up in a scuffle with Jack. He both hit Jack and got hit in return. Park's friends held him back and stopped the fight by talking to Jack, though Jack left the place very angry. Park sat with his friends and talked to them. His anger had cooled down significantly. He thanked them for stopping him because he knew that if he had fought Jack further he would have been badly beaten. Meanwhile, Ruby was sitting at home playing a game. Park messaged her, along with a photo. In the message, he wrote that he was outside her house and if she didn't come out soon he wouldn't talk to her again. Ruby immediately went to her room and got ready quickly, then rushed outside. When she didn't see Park outside, she was about to call him when he appeared in front of her, and told her that he had missed her a lot. Jack, on the other hand, was sitting somewhere very angry, and Kyung approached him to talk. He apologized to Jack for what had happened and also warned him in a soothing but scary tone that if he thought of troubling Park again, he wouldn't stay quiet, because Park was his best friend. On the other hand, walking together, Ruby asked Park if he wasn't angry at her. Park said that he had been angry, and also very worried, and he had almost gone mad with frustration, wondering why she wasn't telling him anything. He told her that he had wanted to ask her many things when he met her, but now that he was with her, he just wanted to say he had missed her a lot. Hearing this made Ruby feel very good. As she started walking ahead, Park hugged her from behind and said he missed her and liked her very much. Ruby asked why he liked her. Park said he liked her because she was herself. Ruby confessed that she had intentionally said mean things to him and hurt his feelings, and she asked if he still liked her. Park replied that he still did. Ruby became more emotional than before and started crying. Park began to comfort her. Ruby apologized for everything. Park said it was okay and suggested they decide from now on that they would not do anything that would require them to apologize to each other. Ruby agreed. She told Park that she never dated Jack. Park replied that he knew. Ruby asked how he knew. Park said he had his own ways of finding out. After clearing all the misunderstanding, Park asked her whether she remembered that it was their 100-day anniversary. He then took out 2 bracelets from his pocket, made her wear one and wore the other himself. Ruby said she didn't have anything to give him, and not even a birthday gift. Park held out his hand and told her to hold it the whole day, saying that would be enough for him. The next day, Park woke up from sleep and saw a message from Ruby. She told him that he wanted to go to school with her, so he should get up quickly. Park got up, dressed in a rush, and came downstairs where Ruby was already waiting. Park hugged her and wished her good morning, and then both of them left for school. On the way, Park asked if she missed him because he missed her a lot. Ruby replied that they had just met yesterday, but Park said they didn't meet in their dreams. Ruby blamed him for that, saying it was his fault she didn't appear in his dream. Then, as Park held Ruby's hand, he noticed she wasn't wearing the bracelet he had given her, and became a bit upset. He asked her where the bracelet was and why she wasn't wearing it. Ruby took it out from her pocket and explained that if any teacher saw it in school, they might take it away, which was why she hadn't worn it. Park asked if she could at least wear it till they reached school, and when she agreed, he helped her wear the bracelet and held her hand again as they walked. When they reached school, Park accompanied Ruby to her class and said he didn't want to be separated from her. Ruby told him to stop talking nonsense, reminding him that they had already decided to go on a date that weekend and would watch a movie that day. Park agreed and said he would book the tickets. Even though he dropped her off, he didn't want to leave. Just then, Game arrived and dragged Park away to class. During break time, Park tried booking the movie tickets, but found only $10 in his account. He started worrying, wondering where the rest of his money went and if someone had hacked his account. When he checked his transaction history, he realized he himself had spent all the money. He got really stressed, wondering how he would go on the date with Ruby. At that moment, his friends showed up, and Park told them about his weekend date plan, but admitted he had no money. One of them suggested asking his parents, but Park explained that his parents already struggled to support him living alone, and would be upset if they found out he spent all his monthly allowance. So he began requesting his friends to lend him $100, promising to return it later, but even they didn't have money and left. After school, when Ruby asked if he had booked the tickets, Park replied he hadn't yet. She asked if she should do it, but Park refused and said he would handle it. Just then, Aram asked if they weren't hungry and suggested they go eat ramen. Ruby asked Park if he would come too. Park quickly calculated how much the bill would be and, realizing he didn't have enough money, declined. He told Ruby he needed to go home and book the tickets and left. Minji then pointed out that Park could have booked the tickets from his phone, so why did he need to go home, wondering why Park left. At home, Park started searching for some money he had hidden, but couldn't find a single coin. Then he realized his friends had taken and spent all of it. He became very anxious, wondering what to do now. It was getting really hot, so he went to switch on the AC, but found out it was broken. This frustrated him even more because he had no money. That night, due to the intense heat, he couldn't sleep and messaged his father saying the AC was broken. His father told him to call a technician the next day since there was a free service offer going on. The next day in school, Park was feeling very sleepy since he couldn't sleep at all the previous night. Kim came and sat next to him, asking why he looked so exhausted. Park explained that his AC was broken so he couldn't sleep, and to top it off, all the food at his house had run out, leaving him hungry. He asked Kim to lend him some money, but Kim said he didn't have any and walked away. Park, now extremely hungry, started stealing food. He took Min's drink, then took Kim's chips. When he was walking past Aram's class, he saw a lot of food on her desk. As Aram went to eat a burger, Park tried to snatch it but failed. Aram asked what he was doing, and whether he'd gone mad. Park apologized for his behavior. Just then Ruby and Minji came by. Ruby asked Park to come to the store with her, but he declined, saying he had overeaten in the morning and now had an upset stomach. He ran off after saying that. Watching this, Minji wondered why he was behaving so strangely since yesterday, because normally he always tried to find excuses to meet Ruby. Aram said she suspected that Park was just very hungry. Meanwhile, Kyung and Min were playing a game when Minji and Aram arrived and asked what they were doing. Min explained they were playing a game and asked which one. As Minji approached to join, she said she liked that game too, and played it often, but when Min asked her some basic questions about the game, she couldn't answer, and they both realized she didn't actually play it. Back in class, Park was sitting when Minji came to him and asked if he knew how to play the game Kyung was playing. Park replied that he didn't even have the energy to speak and would talk later. Minji reminded him that she had helped him many times, so now it was his turn to return the favor. Park said he knew how to play and was quite a good player, and then requested her to teach him the game. Minji sarcastically asked if he would charge his friends too, and Park said he would take 1,000 won for 10 minutes. They negotiated $3. Back home there was no food at all, so that night Park went to Kyung's house for dinner. There Kyung gave him an idea. He said he had lots of expensive clothes and Park could sell some of his clothes online to get money for the date. Park returned home, put one of his expensive clothes for sale online, and managed to get money. The next day he called the technician to repair the AC, but the free offer had ended, so he had to pay. Later, Park went on the date with Ruby, but kept worrying in his mind that he wouldn't even be able to buy her popcorn and drinks during the movie. Ruby asked when the movie would start, and Park replied that there was still an hour left, so they could eat something first. They went to a restaurant. Ruby quickly placed her order, but Park took a long time because he was calculating what he could afford. He didn't want Ruby to pay the bill because he found that embarrassing. Since Park didn't order anything, Ruby placed the order herself. Park and Ruby finished their food. Park told her that he would go to the restroom, but he actually went to the waitress and gave her his ID card, explaining that he did not have money right then and requesting that she keep his card and he would come later to pay. That was when he came to know that the bill was already paid and Ruby had done that. Afterward, Park and Ruby went to watch a movie. Park thanked him for the meal, but Ruby said that since he bought the tickets, it was her turn to treat her to food. She then asked if he had no money and said that he should have told her. Park said that he felt shy, to which she replied that there was nothing to feel shy about and asked if he really liked her. She told him that since they liked each other, there should be nothing hidden between them. Park promised that from then on, he would not hide anything from her. While they were walking, Park asked if she really meant what she said about liking each other. When she answered with uncertainty, he reminded her that she said it. Ruby responded that she did not know and told him to believe whatever he wanted. A few days later, the school was preparing for the annual art festival. Every class was working on its own ideas to attract the audience. On the day of the festival, Minji was running a nail painting stall to attract friends. In another part of the school, Kyung and Ruby, being the most handsome and the most beautiful students, were participating in a photo booth activity created by their class. In this activity, any visitor who bought a coffee could take a photo with either of them. Park's class organized a meditation activity, but no one came to it. After hearing about Ruby's booth, Park ran straight there and took many photos with her. Meanwhile, no one showed any interest in his own class's activity. Soon, many boys from another class lined up to take pictures with Ruby, and Park felt jealous. At the same time, Minji also became jealous when she saw many girls taking pictures with Kyung. To deal with this, Park came up with a strange idea. He invited people to come and beat him up for stress relief, charging them a fee. Surprisingly, this idea attracted a big crowd, and people started lining up and paying to hit him. Eventually, even Ruby came there. Seeing her made Park feel nervous, especially because 2 or 3 strong girls were standing behind her. Ruby, not wanting him to get hurt, paid for the full hour and told him to go away. Park understood that she was worried about him and could not bear to see him hurt, which made him happy. Later on, a girl named Lily, who was a middle school friend of Minji, came to visit her. She joined the same school but was in a different class. She asked about the handsome boy Kyung. Just then, Kyung appeared and offered to take photos, saying she needed to buy coffee first. She quickly bought it and took many pictures with him. Minji got jealous and quietly walked away, and Aram noticed this. Afterward, Lily asked Minji if she was close to Kyung and asked if Kyung had a girlfriend. Minji replied that she did not think he had a girlfriend. Lily then asked her to speak to Kyung on her behalf. At that moment, Aram showed up and warned Minji not to introduce Lily to Kyung, saying that she liked him herself. Minji told her to stop talking nonsense and asked why she would like someone who always acted like a middle schooler. Aram knew that Minji was lying and that she did like Kyung. Later, Minji showed Kyung a photo of Lily and suggested that he meet her. But Kyung said directly that he was not interested in any girl, and told her to say he already had a girlfriend. Minji felt confused because she knew he did not have a girlfriend. After the festival, everyone went to the karaoke room. When a group of boys saw Kyung with Minji, they wondered if she was his girlfriend. Inside, everyone was enjoying themselves, but the snacks and drinks ran out. Kyung and Aram went out to buy more. Meanwhile, Minji got a call from her mother, and she stepped outside to talk. While returning, she ran into a boy named Peter, who said he saw her earlier with Kyung and asked if she was his girlfriend. Minji asked who he was. He introduced himself as Kyung's friend. Just then, Kyung arrived and told Peter that she was not his girlfriend and replied that just because a boy and a girl were together did not mean they were dating. Aram asked Kyung who Peter was. Kyung told her that it was none of their business and asked both of them to go back inside. They left. Peter then questioned Kyung for pretending as if they did not know each other. Kyung told him to speak quietly. Peter commented on Kyung's longer hair and the scar on his face, suggesting that it was not from a fight with boys but from being beaten by his father. Peter said that if Kyung had just told him the truth that time, they would not have had any misunderstandings. Kyung, now angry, grabbed Peter's collar. Peter dared him to hit him. But Kyung let go and told him to leave. 2 days passed, and Kyung did not come to school. He was not answering calls or messages. No one knew where he was. After school, his friends went to his house and met his mother. She said that Kyung had gone to school that morning. His friends did not tell her the truth, but Ruby told her that Kyung had not come to school for the past 2 days. His mother became worried and thanked Ruby for telling the truth. Park was in the PC room when he got a call from his mother and spoke to her for some time. The next day, Kyung finally came to school. Park asked him where he had been, and why he did not respond to anyone. Kyung became angry, grabbed Park's collar and asked if Park really had no idea what was going on and nothing to say. Ruby then came and confessed that she was the one who told Kyung's mother everything. Ben said nothing and walked away angrily. After that, everyone sat down to try to figure out what was going on. Minji asked Min and Kim if they knew anything. Everyone agreed that Kyung would not get angry for no reason. Aram added that she saw a wound on Kyung's hand and she thought he had gotten into a fight. Minji remembered the incident with Peter and wondered if that had something to do with it. Min asked how they knew Peter and explained that they were not close to Kyung back then, and he mostly hung out with Peter. Park was the one who used to follow Kyung around because he worried about him. Just then Park and Ruby arrived. Min told everyone that Kyung had a girlfriend during middle school. Minji was surprised and asked who she was, but Park said her name was Yuri. A flashback showed how Kyung once came to the karaoke room with his friends, and Yuri was also there. Peter asked for Yuri's number but she refused. Later, when Yuri was going home, Peter offered to walk with her but she said no. Instead, she went to Kyung and asked him to walk her home. Kyung agreed, and Peter was left annoyed. Not long after that, Kyung and Yuri started dating. Both of them were very happy with each other and seeing them together, and Peter became quite jealous because he also liked Yuri. Peter no longer wanted to see them together. So he started spreading rumors throughout the school about Yuri, claiming she was dating many guys at once. Since Kyungguk was very young at that time, he believed those rumors, which led to a fight between him and Yuri, and eventually they broke up. Peter also spread false stories about Kyung, saying he was a lunatic who tortured and physically abused Yuri. When Kyung found out Peter was behind all this, he was ready to fight him, but Park stopped him. Peter tried provoking Park too and told him that Kyung was not a good person and he should stay away from him, but Park didn't believe Peter's lies because he knew what kind of person Kyung truly was. In the present time, Min said that a few days later, Kyung was hospitalized due to a serious injury which left a permanent scar on his face. Min couldn't clearly remember how Kyung got hurt, so he asked Park, who said the injury was his fault. A flashback showed Kyung in the hospital with Shin and Min visiting him. Kyung felt thirsty and asked Min to get him water. While Min was gone, Shin asked Kyung how he got hurt and whether someone beat him up. Before Kyung could answer, Park interrupted and said he fell down the stairs. Park asked how that happened, so Park explained that he accidentally pushed him. Hearing this, Kyung smiled, because he knew that wasn't the truth. In the present, everyone now knew that Park was behind Kyung's injury. After school, Park and Ruby were walking together and Park looked upset. Suddenly Peter appeared and said he came to meet Kyung and was glad to see Park too. Park stood in front of Ruby and told Peter he didn't want to talk and should leave. Peter mocked him, asking if he was acting like a hero in front of a girl, and if she was his girlfriend. He said she was pretty but questioned why she was with someone like Park. He again tried to provoke him and said that since Park was Kyung's best friend, he must know how Kyung got the scar on his forehead. He claimed to have heard that Kyung's father beat him, and that's how the scar happened. This made Park extremely angry, and he told Peter to stop spreading lies, and called him names. Peter got furious and started pushing Park and grabbed his collar. Seeing this, Ruby got angry and slapped Peter. When Peter tried to slap her back, Park stepped in and protected her, getting injured in the process. Just then, Kim arrived and grabbed Peter's hand and told him to leave or he would call the police. Peter's friends got scared and dragged him away. Kim helped Park get up and asked if he was okay. Later, at Park's home, Ruby was applying medicine on his wounds. She asked him if what Peter said about Kyung's past was true. Park replied that Peter was lying. She asked if he could swear on her that he was telling the truth. Park refused to swear, which made Ruby realize Peter might have been telling the truth. She put Park to bed and left, but before going home, she went to Kyung's house and waited outside. She messaged him that she wanted to talk and told him that because of him Park got hurt today. After a while, Kyung came out. Ruby lifted his hair to look at his scar, surprising Kyung. She said the scar didn't look that bad and added that she heard it was caused by his father. Kyung asked if Park told her. She said no, Park would never say something like that. She explained that she heard it from Peter when he tried to fight Park at school. Ruby said she knew Park too well to believe he would ever reveal anything about Kyung. She told Kyung to stop pretending he didn't know. She said one more thing, that he should do something about his hair and not hide the scar anymore. Kyung remembered that during his time in the hospital, Park had taken care of him, skipped school for him, and stayed by his side the whole time. that reminded him Park would never betray him. So Kyung went to Park's home, apologized for everything, and Park forgave him. Everything was fine again between them. The next day, Kyung and Min were waiting outside Park's house to go to school. Then Ruby came too. When Kyung saw her, he remembered how she had lifted his hair to see his scar, and how his heart started racing. Because of her, he changed his hairstyle. Ruby liked the new hairstyle and complimented him. All three of them were waiting, but Park didn't come. Kyung left early as he had something to do. Now Min was left alone with Ruby, and it was awkward. He said it seemed like Park would take a while, so they might as well wait inside. They entered Park's house, and just then Park came out, unaware that anyone was there. And without a towel. Ruby was shocked, and Park was also shocked to see her. Min burst out laughing. Park ran back to the bathroom quickly. Feeling awkward, Ruby said she was leaving and quickly left. After she left, Min laughed even harder. Later, Park was worried and asked Ruby if Ruby saw everything. Min said he didn't know, but added that even a few seconds were enough. Park panicked, thinking that meant she really saw everything. Min laughed and told him to go ask her himself. In class, when Min entered and saw Ruby, he couldn't stop laughing. Ruby told him to stop. Min said Park was asking how much she saw. Ruby told him to stop being ridiculous and sit down. Park came to his locker to get a notebook and thought to himself that he had only stepped out of the bathroom for 3 seconds and somehow Min caught him. He wondered if Ruby really saw everything and remembered how she was looking straight at his face for those 3 seconds. He was now worried about how he would face her again. Just then, Ruby passed by and they crossed paths. Park felt deeply embarrassed and ran away. After school, he tried to leave quietly so he wouldn't have to face her. Seeing his behavior, Kim asked what was wrong with him. Park thought he couldn't keep avoiding her forever and would have to face her. Kim was confused and asked what he meant and whether he got hit on the head. He didn't understand anything. At that moment, Ruby arrived with her friends. Park and Ruby both felt awkward. They weren't even looking at each other. Park asked where Kyung was and Ruby said he had already left. Watching their awkwardness, Min struggled not to laugh. Park still had no idea how to talk to Ruby and quietly walked away. Kyung asked Ruby if she and Park had fought, since Park left like that. Later that night, Park was sitting at home trying to message Ruby because he wanted to talk to her and ask how much she saw, but he couldn't bring himself to send the message. He was feeling extremely restless and didn't know what to do. At the same time, Kyung was with him in the PC room. However, he was getting lost in thoughts about Ruby, which caused them to lose the game. Meanwhile, Ruby herself was also thinking of messaging Park to talk, but she didn't know what to say or how to start, so she didn't send a message either. The next day, Kyung was standing outside Park's house, waiting for Ruby to show up, but when she didn't, he left. A little later, Ruby arrived at Park's place and Park came outside too. Both of them were feeling extremely awkward and cold toward each other, but somehow they managed to reach school together. At school, Ruby and Minji were talking. Then Kyung came up to them and told Minji that she mentioned a girl named Lily the other day, and he asked her to give her number. Minji asked if he wasn't the one who said that day he wasn't interested. Kyung replied that his mood had changed, so she should give the number. Minji then sent him Lily's number. However, Minji was not at all happy about this, because she didn't want to see Kyung with another girl. Lily was hanging out with her friend when she got a message from Kyung and became very happy. In Ruby's class that day, the teachers were teaching sex education. They had merged Park's class with theirs. When Park entered, he tried to sit next to Min, but he pushed him and made him sit next to Ruby instead. Both of them became even more awkward. A little while later, the class ended. Ruby was in the washroom thinking that she couldn't continue like this with Park and needed to do something. After school, Park tried to leave quietly, but Ruby was standing outside. Park said they'd meet tomorrow and tried to leave, but Ruby grabbed his arm. Just then, Min and Kim came out and asked what they were doing. Ruby let go of him, and Park started running. Ruby shouted that if he left, she would never talk to him again. Hearing that, Park stopped. Kim and Min walked away. Then Ruby told him that she didn't see anything, because she was only looking into his eyes. And Min had already blocked her view, so she couldn't see anything anyway. Park asked if that was the truth, and Ruby confirmed it. In reality, she was lying, because she saw everything, but still convinced Park that she didn't see anything, and Park believed her. Things seemed fine again between them, and they walked away holding hands. Later, at the dinner where Minji was also present because Lily had brought her along, Lily was feeding Kyung with her hands. Seeing them together made Minji feel even worse. In jealousy, Minji said that when she showed Lily's photo to Kyung, he rejected her. To cover up, Kyung said that the photo didn't do her justice and that she looked prettier in person. Then Minji started saying random things to separate them, which made Kyung realize that she was behaving strangely, and he stayed quiet. After dinner, Kyung walked Lily to her home. Kyung told her to message him later. Hearing this, Lily said she really felt like he was her boyfriend. Kyung replied that if she felt that way, then what was stopping her? Lily was surprised and asked if he was asking her to be his girlfriend. Kyung said that it was up to her. Lily became very happy, stretched out her hand, and Kyung held it. The next day, Kyung and Lily came to school together, and their friends instantly understood from their behavior that the two of them were now dating. Everyone congratulated them, but Minji wasn't happy at all. In class, the teacher came and announced that exams would be held in a few days. Most of the students usually failed because they didn't study. The teacher warned that if even one student failed this time, the whole class would have to attend extra classes after school. Everyone was upset and asked if there was any other option. The teacher pointed out that the weakest student in the class was Kyung, who didn't even write anything in exams. The only way to avoid extra classes was if Kyung passed this time. Everyone became even more worried because it seemed impossible that Kyung would pass. As the exams came closer, everyone came to Park's house to study together. Park had invited Shintop, who was very good at studies. Kim was helping Kyung and Min. But Kyung was not able to understand anything, so Kim had to keep repeating everything. While studying, everyone got hungry. Ruby offered to cook something, but everyone got worried because they knew how bad her cooking was. Park told her it wasn't necessary and she should study instead since she also had exams. Everyone agreed with Park, not wanting to eat her food. Minji suggested ordering from outside and started placing the order on her phone. But Ruby didn't agree, and said it was a waste of money when they already had food at home. She insisted on cooking. After some time, Ruby brought spicy chicken for everyone. Trong didn't want to eat and said he was going to the bathroom. Park also said he'd wash his hands before eating. Minji pretended she needed to call her mom, who was coming the next day. While they were gone, Kim and Min said the food tasted great. But the three who left didn't trust them. Then Shin also praised the chicken, and since they trusted him, they decided to sit and eat. But the food turned out to be terrible. After several hours of studying, everyone went home. The next day, all the classmates were running behind Kyung and making him study all the time. Even his friends were doing the same, and Kyung was getting very irritated. But it helped. When the exam results came, Kyung passed, and everyone in the class was shocked. The teacher said that, since Kyung passed, no one had to attend after-school classes and everyone became very happy. Kyung told his mother that he passed, and she was extremely happy. Seeing her smile made Kyung feel proud and joyful. Some days passed. Park and Kyung were waiting at a place for Ruby. Park asked how things were going with Minji. Kyung replied that it was going better than Park's relationship. Just then, Ruby arrived and they all left for school together. At school, Minji saw Kyung and Lily arriving and quickly hid. After school, Kyung suggested Lily go to the PC room. Lily said she didn't know how to play games. Kyung told her she could play something simple and asked her to go to her class. Seeing them together made Minji feel terrible. She checked her phone and saw many messages from Shin. That night, Minji messaged Shin and asked if he would like to go watch a movie with her that weekend. Shin saw that message and became extremely happy. Shin went to Park's house and told him that he was going to meet Minji that day. Shin was wearing very old-fashioned clothes, so Park gave him some better clothes from his own wardrobe to wear. Later, Shin reached the place to meet Minji. He asked her if she wasn't hungry and suggested going to eat something. She agreed and they went to a restaurant. When they came out of the restaurant, they ran into Kyung and Lily. Seeing them together, Kyung asked what was going on and if they were dating. Minji replied that there was nothing like that. Shin said they just decided to watch a movie together. Kyung said that this itself was dating. Not wanting to bother them, Kyung wished them fun, but he didn't like seeing them together. Minji imagined herself in Lily's place and thought it would be great if she were Kyung's girlfriend. But since that wasn't the case, she felt a little upset. The next day, Park went to Ruby and Kyung went to Lily. Min, who didn't have a girlfriend himself, asked if they came to school to date and not to study. Park replied that he also didn't have a girlfriend but still wasn't studying either. Then Kyung was playing games with his friends. Lily had planned to go shopping with Kyung, but Kyung got busy playing games with his friends, which upset her. She told him to do whatever he wanted and said she was leaving. As she left, feeling upset, Kyung didn't like seeing her that way, so he also went with her. That night, Park's friends came to his house. From their conversation, they got to know that Kyung had been dating for just 20 days and already kissed. Park started feeling jealous because, even after dating Ruby for more than 6 months, he hadn't kissed her. He kept thinking about it all night and couldn't sleep. After a few days, Park got ready to go out. He planned to go to an amusement park with Ruby and decided that today he would really enjoy it with her and also kiss her. After a while, Park and Ruby reached the amusement park. Kyung and Lily were also there. They all went on rides. Park helped Ruby get seated and buckled her seatbelt. He also took many photos with her. Meanwhile, Kyung didn't do any of that and kept using his phone, which made Lily upset. Park and Ruby spent time holding hands and taking photos. And Kyung didn't feel good watching all this because he started liking Ruby too. After a long day at the amusement park, they went home and Park gathered his courage and told Ruby that he wanted a kiss. Ruby thought for a moment and said that if he wanted it then, okay, but he had only 3 seconds. She started counting and Park quickly kissed her. Meanwhile, Lily said that he was with her the whole day and yet she felt very alone, because he was on his phone the entire time and didn't pay attention to her. Every time she looked at Park and Ruby, she wondered if they were really dating. She said that he didn't even notice how upset she was. Lily became emotional, so Kyung hugged her and apologized. She asked him whether he really liked her. Kyung thought and said yes. Lily replied that if he really liked her, then how could he not understand how she was feeling today? Kyung couldn't say anything in response, so she started walking away. He didn't stop her. Lily turned back and said that he didn't like her because if he did, he would have tried to stop her, but he didn't. Kyung replied that he didn't treat her well and he was sorry. The next day, during lunch break at school, Park brought pizza, but everyone started eating it before Ruby arrived. Aram told Kyung that he should be eating with his girlfriend. Kyung didn't respond, so everyone assumed there was a fight. After school, while Park and Ruby were walking, Ruby said she would bring her own lunch from the next day. Park replied that he is a good cook and suggested that he could make food for her. Ruby said no, she would cook for Park instead. Park started getting nervous, because he knew Ruby didn't know how to cook. The next day, Ruby brought lunch for Park. Park ate it even though it didn't taste good and still praised it so she wouldn't feel bad. Just then, 2 boys from their class came and tasted the food. They said the food was horrible and asked who would even eat such a thing. Park told them to stop and said it was good, but Ruby started thinking about what the truth might be. On the other hand, Minji was checking all the messages sent by Shin. Aram came there too and saw it. She said that if Minji was just passing time with Shin, she should end it soon. Minji asked what she meant and said that she wasn't passing time. Aram warned her that Shin liked her, and if she kept meeting him like this, he might misunderstand. While they were talking, Ruby came and honestly asked if her cooking was really that bad. Aram and Minji finally told her that she really didn't know how to cook well. After school, Ruby went to Aram's house to learn cooking. Aram explained the ingredients and the steps, but no matter how hard Ruby tried, she just couldn't cook properly. Later that night, Minji and Shin were walking when they spotted Kyung and Lily. Shin suggested going to meet them, but Minji said there was no need and walked away. Watching them together made Minji uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Kyung started liking Ruby. But Park and Ruby liked each other, and watching them together made him jealous. Out of jealousy, Kyung thought Ruby was dating Park and decided to date Lily. But since he never liked her, he ended up breaking up with her. On the other hand, Minji asked him if he still liked her and why. Shin replied that he had liked her since the first time he saw her and still liked her. Minji was upset seeing Kyung and Lily together earlier and decided she should also start dating. She asked him if they could date. Shin immediately hugged her because he had been waiting for this. A few days passed. All of Minji's friends found out that she was dating Shin. Everyone was surprised. But they were even more shocked to learn that Kyung and Lily broke up. Kyung told Minji that Shin was a very good guy and now that she was dating him, she shouldn't break his heart and should take care of him. That night, Minji stayed at home thinking if she made a mistake by starting to date Shin, especially because Kyung and Lily broke up. The next day, after school ended early, Kyung and Minu asked Kim if he wanted to go to the PC room. Kim refused and said that he had to study because he scored very low on the last exam, and his mom was very angry. If he didn't study, she would take away his phone and computer. Min laughed and said that Kim actually believed her. He said his own mother always threatened him but never actually did anything. Kim replied that his mother was different. Kim was studying in a library. He went to get some books and accidentally bumped into a girl. It was love at first sight for Kim. That girl was also there to study, so Kim gathered some courage and started talking to her. They exchanged a few words and became slightly acquainted. The next day, Ruby was at Park's house where she had come to study with him, but Park had fallen asleep while studying. When Ruby woke him up and asked why he called her if he didn't want to study, Park replied that he was too tired and out of energy, and needed a kiss to recharge. He said he would study longer if she kissed him more. Ruby was about to kiss him when Kim's mom entered and disturbed them. Park was annoyed and said to himself that he might need to change his house's password. Then Park asked Kim why he came there. Kim replied that he needed to borrow some clothes. Park was surprised because Kim had never asked for clothes before, and guessed he must be going to meet a girl. Kim smiled, which made it clear to both of them. When asked, Kim said that he had started liking a girl but they weren't dating yet. He explained that they met at the library, where she came every day. After borrowing clothes from Park, Kim left. Park, curious about who the girl was, went to the library with Ruby. There they saw Kim sitting and talking warmly with a girl. But Kim noticed them and looked around to find that not just Park and Ruby but also Minji, Aram and Min were there. Seeing all of them in the library made Kim angry. He gestured for them to come outside and pretended he was going to the washroom. Outside he scolded them and told them to leave. Then he went back inside. But they didn't leave, which turned out to be a good thing because a little while later, Kim found out that the girl he liked actually had feelings for someone else. His heart broke, and his friends were the ones who supported him through it. That night, when Park was about to sleep, he received a call from his mom. After talking to her, he became very quiet. The next day, Ruby waited for Park outside his house. When Park came out, Ruby noticed his long face and asked what was wrong. Park said that from that day on they would no longer be able to meet like before because he had to move out of the house. Hearing this, Ruby became very emotional. Then Minji was at school, lost in thought because she had not met Shin in several days. Shin had messaged her and asked to meet. Minji thought that since they were dating, she should meet him. Meanwhile, Park told his friends that he was moving out because he didn't score well in his exams and his mom didn't want him to live alone. So he would be moving back in with his parents. But he also said that no matter what, he wouldn't change schools because if he did, he wouldn't be able to meet Ruby, so he decided to stay in the same school. Meanwhile, Minji decided to message Shin and planned to meet him that day. Park's friends planned to throw him a room party before he left, but Minji said she couldn't come because she was going to meet Shin after school. After school, everyone went to Park's house for the party, while Minji went to meet Shin. Minji had started dating Shin out of jealousy but later realized that it was wrong. She decided to break up with Shin that day. As she was about to tell Shin everything, a waiter brought flowers, a surprise arranged by him. Seeing him so happy, Minji felt it wasn't the right time to tell him, and kept quiet. She accepted the flowers. Meanwhile, everyone was present at Park's home and he felt very sad about leaving because of all the memories he had made there with his friends and with Ruby. His friends were also sad. Seeing them upset made Park feel even worse, but shortly after, he received a message from his father, who convinced his mom to let him stay. This made Park very happy. When he told Ruby and his friends, they all celebrated. Park and Ruby's relationship was going well. But one day Park's ex-girlfriend came back into his life. She messaged him, asked how he was and requested his number. Park was confused about why she was suddenly messaging him. The next day, during school break, Park and Ruby were walking outside when Park received another message from his ex. He was shocked and wondered how she got his number. He told Kyung, who advised him to ignore her since he already had a girlfriend. Park replied that he was doing exactly that and even blocked her, yet she still got his numbers somehow. After school, Park and Ruby went to a restaurant for dinner. Ruby asked Park if he wanted to watch a movie together, but just then he got another message from his ex, which annoyed him. He muttered to himself, wondering why she kept messaging him. Ruby repeated her question about the movie, and Park agreed. But Ruby heard the notification sounds. She asked who was messaging him, and why he wasn't checking his phone. Park replied that it was just an old friend, though he scolded himself inwardly for lying, unable to tell Ruby the truth. Park went to the washroom and messaged his ex, saying he had a girlfriend now and it wasn't appropriate for her to message him. But she wanted to be with him. Park apologized and said if she kept messaging he would be forced to block her. His ex said she only wanted to be friends, and didn't want to break up with him before. Feeling disturbed, Park canceled the movie plan with Ruby. Wanting to know the truth about their breakup, he messaged his ex that night, but she didn't answer directly and said it was too late and they could talk tomorrow. The next day, after school, Park and Ruby were leaving when she suddenly showed up. Park was shocked. She started talking to him and even held his hand. Ruby was confused about who this girl was and why she was doing that. Just then, Kyung came and pulled her away. He scolded her and warned her to stay away from Park. When Ruby found out the girl was Park's ex and that he had been messaging her again, she got very angry and left with her friends. Ruby was so upset that she didn't talk to Park for several days. Later, Kyung told Ruby that Park's ex was not a good person. She used to date Park for money and broke up with him when she found someone richer. After hearing all that, Ruby stopped being angry with Park but was furious with her. The next day, Ruby confronted her and they argued. Ruby ended up hitting her and warned her to stay away from Park. Seeing this side of Ruby, Park was stunned. He realized how much she truly liked him, which was why she did all of that. Meanwhile, Minji realized that no matter what she did, Jung would never like her back. So Minji decided to start a new life with Shin. She continued dating him, hoping that maybe she would come to like him eventually. Park was also dating Ruby, but he had never properly proposed to her. So he finally proposed, sincerely expressed all his feelings, and Ruby for the first time told him she really liked him too. Park was overjoyed. They continued dating and were very happy together.